Here. Thank you. Where do you want me? All right, guys, we're gonna get started. Is it recording now? Am I on? No, you're totally. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna pass these around. These are newer business cards that have a QR code that has everything that we do, because we do so many things, and whenever people ask what we do, no one knows what the hell to say. So, because there's so many things, this one thing helps. So I'll just pass these around. Okay, so this is our November mastermind. Thank you so much for coming. And we now do that same QR code that is on those cards. The QR codes is on this slide. All throughout is the same QR code. And so instead of handing out paper copies like we did in the past, now this mastermind will be uploaded into our Save Nebraska Local University on the school. And so if you are a paid member with us in any capacity, you have access to that. Otherwise, you can pay for $50 a month and you can have access to it. And the benefit of this is it teaches you how to DIY what people pay us to do. So if you're like, I want to give it a shot, I want to do it on my own, okay, get on there and figure it out, and it's all laid out for you. Okay, so this month we're introducing Dr. Jess Jacobson. I haven't got to know you like in depth yet, but in the last year, my interactions with her have been amazing. Every single person that has ever been around her has said amazing things. What I know about her so far is that she is in a male-dominated industry, just like I am. So right away, I connect with that, because being a woman in a male-dominated industry is hard. And so you have to kind of go above and beyond to set yourself apart. Absolutely. And if you let it, it could harden you. But it takes a special person to just kind of go into that with grace, but also strength. And that my interaction with you so far has been that, like, you are just amazing. Thank you. So she's going to be talking today about the art of the makeover, what cosmetic surgery teaches us about business transformation. So while she does do Botox and fillers and boob jobs and tummy tucks and all these cool things, that's not what she's talking about today. She's going to talk about business transformation in your life. If you're not already, please go and like our Save Nebraska Local page, which is separate from our Save Lincoln Local group. The Save Lincoln Local group is what everybody knows us for, but Save Nebraska Local is a company here that owns that. And so they're two separate things. The Save Nebraska Local page has all of our events for the entire year in there. And so that's why you want to follow along with that one. If you're interested in co-hosting a mastermind with Save Nebraska Local, I would love to talk to you. We are looking for people in the 2026 year. So if you are a customer in any capacity, I would love for you to speak, even if you've already spoke once and you want to speak again on a different topic. I love coming up here and talking, but even more so than that, I love watching you come up here and talk. These are our upcoming free events. So next week at 6 p.m. at the Piedmont Harbor Coffee House, you will see us there. And then December 4th, we will be back here at Rosie's, and JJ and Melanie will be co-hosting the next mastermind. And then December 11th and January 8th. So we are looking for somebody that wants to present for January 8th. So there's two events that Save Nebraska Local is a part of. This first one is November 23rd. It does say sponsored by T-Square Movers. That's because we're not hosting it. It's Creative Collabs, but we are the big sponsor of this event. The cool thing about this holiday market with Creative Collabs is there's about 80 to 90 vendors. So then you can go and you can spend your holiday money in the community, because what we know is that when you spend your money in the community, 68 cents of that dollar stays here, versus if you go to Walmart, about 6 cents stays here. So it's important that you do support local, which you all do. That's why you're here. The cool thing about this holiday market that's different than other holiday markets is that every vendor gets a Christmas tree. We spend our own money on it. So Save Nebraska Local and T-Square Movers have a Christmas tree, and you decorate the tree, and then you pick a nonprofit that you want to focus on for the donations. And so then people buy tickets to this market. It's $8 right now and $10 at the door. And then you get a ticket and you get to vote for your tree, which is essentially voting for the nonprofit, right? And then whoever wins gets that money to divvy out to their nonprofit. So Save Nebraska Local is choosing Disrupting Traffic, and T-Square Movers chose We Can Do This, We Feed Kids. So we think that right now there is a huge, huge need for feeding people, obviously. So that's why we chose what we chose. And then the next holiday event is our holiday party. And so that is on December 5th from 5 to 9 p.m., adults only. It does cost $50 a ticket because half of that money is going to go right back into a nonprofit raffle fund. Again, you get to choose which nonprofit. If you win, that money goes to, we'll have 3 baskets. So if you're interested in hosting or giving a basket item, I will try to get like multiple things in one basket. We're going to have live music. So I got Brian Hall and Kelly McGovern. They're going to dress up in crazy, wonky Christmas suits and come and play the piano and sing holiday songs. It's at Paige's Airbnb on 92nd Holdridge. She's going to decorate it. She said her inspiration for decorating is like the Robbers Cave Christmas holiday type. Yeah, so like, nice. You know how it's just obnoxious, but it's fun? That's what she's going to do inside of the house. And so we're going to have food catered in. Medit is going to come and do some photography, just candid shots, and then just have fun together. So yes, so it's $50 a ticket. Please go buy tickets, and then if you'd like to donate a basket giveaway, just let us know.
When is the deadline for things? Like when's the last day to decide? Assuming it's not Florida, but like the month before. Yeah, buy the tickets or do the raffle, like you know about raffles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't sell out, when's the last day?
Yeah.
Probably the first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say we're at like 33 or 35% of them are gone already.
Nice. Okay.
Can you resell them if you can't make it?
Huh?
Can you resell them if you can't make it?
Can you resell them?
Like if I were to buy them and then my daughter's times for her tournament lined up wrong, if she had like 2 back-to-backs right during that
like
time,
put someone else?
Yeah, could I give them somebody else?
Yeah, if you just tell me, then I would just, because I'm going to have a spreadsheet, and I'm envisioning having like an envelope, and when you come in, I'll just give you the envelope with your thing, and then you can do whatever you want. Okay, so before we get into her speaking, I had this last month, and I'm going to continue this month. So this is real data from T-Square Movers using the Save Local app software. In the last year, we've had 65% year-over-year growth. I would say it's probably more than that after what we just dealt with October. I'm pretty sure October was one of the highest month we've ever had, which is weird because it shouldn't be historically moving. But I think like we're probably getting about 35% of the market now. So that's that with the Save Local app. And so I wanted to give a quick breakdown of what that software does. So there's 3 tiers. The first tier, if you are just walking in and you don't really have any kind of systems, what you need to do is have somebody help you build a foundation. That's tier 1. You don't want to walk in going fully automated AI. You don't need that. And then as you grow into tier 2, where you start adding some little automations and different things. And then you graduate finally into tier 3, which I would say our company is in tier 3. Talon Room is in tier 3. Is there anybody else in tier 3? Talon Room doesn't even have to answer their phones. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you don't need any of that stuff and you just need some like a basic contact form and email set up, there's a $50 a month option to do that, and then you can graduate into whatever you need. And so then again, if you would like any information on this, you can get with Justin or Nolan, and he can send you his link, and then he'll walk you through the whole thing. Different businesses that are on the software. And I'm going to hand it over to Jess.
Thank you.
Here you go.
All right, I just click here.
Yep, so
Tap
that's
the
front,
big
that's-
one.
yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and
Hi.
thank you for everyone who's watching later. Shout out. I'm Jess Jacobson, owner of Jacobson Cosmetic Surgery, and today I'm going to talk to you about the art of the makeover, and this is kind of a metaphor for what cosmetic surgery can teach us about business transformation. And I'm going to use notes, and I'm going to try not to just read off of them, so bear with me here, but we'll get started. Tell you a little bit about who I am. So I was raised in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm not from Lincoln originally. My dad is a veterinarian. He went to school down in Manhattan, Kansas, so at K-State. That's where I was born, but lived my whole life in Lincoln. My dad's the original Dr. J. He is a veterinarian, Jacobson Veterinary Clinic. I guess I didn't get very creative with my name, kind of copied him. But by nature, I am a lover of flora, fauna. I love animals. I'm an avid gardener. I have over 30 varieties of roses in my backyard, and I love all things, animals and nature. So I've always been a lifelong learner. I've got about 15 years of education between undergrad, medical school, residency, and then fellowship. I just kept going. And so my background is in ear, nose, and throat and facial plastic surgery. And then I did a fellowship in general cosmetic surgery. So I realized that learning never really stops. My newest venture, I like to say, is entrepreneurship and small business ownership, because they definitely didn't teach you how to do all of that in medical school. So I'm sure many of you can probably relate that being great at your craft doesn't necessarily make you automatically great at running a business. One book that really has resounded with me is The E-Myth Revisited. Michael Gerber talks about 3 personalities that every small business owner juggles. So that of the technician, who's the doer or the expert in the work, that of the manager, the organizer, keeping things running, and then that of the entrepreneur, who's the visionary and who's always looking ahead. And most of us start as technicians, and we're great at what we do, and then we realize we have to learn, often the hard way, how to also be the manager and the visionary. And that's been my journey as well. So I've done some self-reflection. I want to understand why I make the decisions that I do. And so the tools like the Enneagram are one that is a personality framework that's been very eye-opening to me. I'm an Enneagram type 1, wing 2, which is technically like perfectionist with a heart. Has anyone done their Enneagram? Anyone here? What are you, Maggie? 1 and 3? Okay, yeah. So if you guys haven't done it, you can get online. It's free. I think it's types 1 through 9, and it's very interesting just to kind of see what you're motivated by. A very kind of just a quick personality framework. I also am a Libra. I don't know if anyone's into astrology, but Libra is all about finding balance and harmony and beauty in all things. So I guess that lends towards me being a cosmetic surgeon. I'm a Lady Gaga super fan, so if you know nothing about me, that's one thing you should know. So I love bold self-expression and individuality, and it's about embracing who you are unapologetically. And so these things have given me some insight into understanding just kind of the beginnings of my leadership style and where I shine and where I can grow. So Jacobson Cosmetic Surgery was opened March of 2022. I'm Lincoln's first female cosmetic surgeon. We do all elective cash pay face, breast, body cosmetic surgery, as well as skincare, injectables, Botox, and filler. So Jacobson Cosmetic Surgery is something I'm deeply proud of. It's not just a practice, but I like to say it's a philosophy. We're an all-female team. Like Ashley had mentioned, we're in a male-dominated field. So we're dedicated to elevating confidence and creating an environment where women and all patients feel understood, seen, and cared for. There's a level of empathy and detail and connection that comes from being an all-female team in a traditionally male-dominated field. So it's definitely something that we lean into. Our office is very girly. Men can come in the office. You're welcome to come in and raise the testosterone levels, but it is a very female-driven practice. Our approach is truly concierge-style care. So every person who comes in gets a personalized consultation. I spend over an hour talking with each and every one of our patients. We want to understand their goals, their why, and their lifestyle. We also provide in-home post-op visits, which is something that not many physicians can say. We will actually go in and check on our patients the night of surgery for their bigger surgeries like facelifts or tummy tucks. We want our patients to heal comfortably and feel supported long after they leave the operating room. And at JCS, it's really a strong emphasis on education, trust, and natural results. And we take the time to educate our patients, set realistic expectations, and help them feel empowered in every decision. So what surgery has taught me about business? Transformation isn't about quick fixes. It's about a deep understanding, careful planning, artful execution. And I've realized the same is true for business. Whether it's a face, a brand, or a business, every successful transformation has a few things in common. You start with a clear diagnosis. You want to know what's not working, what's out of balance, and what needs refinement. Next, you build from the inside out, not just the surface, but the systems, the structure, and the confidence underneath. And then finally, you present a vision of your business that people can't help but notice, not because it's flashy, but entrepreneurship, it's quite the same. You have to see both the structure and the story. And the best results in both surgery and business come from when that transformation is treated as a blend of science, strategy, and soul. Oh, I hit the wrong button, Ashley. Oh. Perfect timing for you to be right here. Thank you. So the business makeover plan is something that I wanted to take you guys through. So we've talked about the parallels between surgery and business, and I created this business makeover plan that we're going to be going through together. And just like every patient consultation, we'll go through this systematically step by step. And we'll identify something in your business that could use attention. For some of you, that might be branding or messaging. For others, it could be systems and team communication or just overall client experience. And we're going to use the same journey that we take patients through in a cosmetic surgery transformation. First, we're going to diagnose what's not quite working, where there's misalignment or friction. Then we design a personalized plan that will fit your business structure, your styles, and your goals. And then we'll talk about pre-op prep, what needs to be in place before you make those changes. And then finally, we'll go over post-op care and how to sustain and refine those results once the transformation begins. So by the end, you'll have your own mini treatment plan, and it'll act as a roadmap for change that's custom to you and your business. So I'm going to pass around these worksheets. Ashley, could you help me pass these around? And you can jot down your thoughts kind of as we go. And then at the end, we'll take time to fill out these worksheets, and we'll be able to diagnose and do a mini treatment plan together. You might have to share pens. Thank you. All right, so we'll start with consultation. So when I started preparing for this talk, I did my own little consultation, not with a patient, but with myself and my own business. And I've been in practice for almost 4 years now. And like many of you, I'm constantly reflecting on what's working, what needs refinement, and there's always room to grow. For me, clarity starts with systems. So getting the right ones in place after learning, again, sometimes the hard way, what works and what doesn't. I naturally lean towards action. I love change, I move quickly, and I tend to implement before I analyze or overanalyze. And that strength can also be a weakness. I sometimes skip the pause that allows for reflection and strategy. So I've been focusing on becoming a stronger, more intentional leader, grounded in purpose rather than pace. Through my ERN networking group, I connected with Maggie, who's here in the audience, and she's the founder of Inclusive Spaces, a consulting firm focused on leadership development. And we've just started working together, and already it's started to help me understand my own behaviors and biases as a leader and learn how to create an environment that supports and empowers my team. And then there's the area where most of us creatives struggle with finances. I'll be honest, I hate spreadsheets. I hate math. I don't like budgets. I've realized you can't improve what you don't measure, however. So also through my networking, I've met Jessica Medina, who's a financial advisor, and she's helped me get granular as well as big picture clarity on finances in business and in life. So this has become part of my own clarity process, getting honest about where I thrive, recognizing where I avoid, and then building stronger foundations in both leadership and operations. So ultimately what this slide is about is before you can make meaningful change, you have to pause long enough to understand what you truly want and what your business actually needs. So when we talk about customization, it's really about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what makes your business yours. It's really easy to look around and see what other businesses are doing, especially in your same field, and think that success means just following their model. But what works for one business might not work for another, and even in that same industry. For me, a major differentiator has been the decision to be an all-cash pay elective cosmetic surgery practice. We don't accept insurance, and I can't tell you how many times I've been asked, well, why not? No one in Lincoln's doing that. Why would you? And so I understand why a lot of practices would accept insurance or do. It provides additional revenue stream, it supports hospital-based systems, and it's often seen as a safer financial route. But it also requires an entire infrastructure. You need staff for coding, for billing, for claims, and that really makes a completely different model of care. So when I opened Jacobson Cosmetic Surgery, my vision was different. I wanted to focus on experience rather than volume and have a truly personalized concierge level care from, like I said earlier, our post-op house calls and one-on-one recovery support. Building deep human relationships with patients that just aren't as possible in that insurance-driven system. So yes, it's bold and it's not for everyone, but it's what makes us unique. So that's the takeaway. Your differentiation doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It just needs to be intentional, authentic, and aligned with your purpose. So now I'm going to ask someone to share, what is something that makes your business distinct or something no one else around you does, and how can you lean into that even more? Any takers?
I'll go.
Please.
So I guess I would say, and for those of you who don't know me, I think I met everybody here, but my name is Kayla Lyons, and we have a massage therapy business that my husband's a massage therapist, and so he kind of does the massages, right? And I have a background in HR, and so recently made the jump to doing HR consulting with small businesses. So we have a late stage growth company and an early stage growth company. So I guess I'll give examples for both. At the Knot Massage, we are building up to a couples weekend, which I'm excited about. No one in town that I'm aware of, and Debbie, you might know somebody, I don't know, but correct me offline if you do, but has the ability to do two people in the same room, like do two couples in the same room. So that's a differentiator that we're doing a couples weekend coming up, because that's something that we offer that's different, that's we're always willing to kind of customize that. We also have very tenured therapists, which I think is not, and we have multiple therapists. We get people in on short notice sometimes, if somebody has a cancellation, that kind of thing. So that's our later stage business. And then kind of with the early stage business, I am looking on customizing differently, because with branding, I realized my name was kind of confusing, because it's, I mix them together weird, and it makes it look like my name is Kay, but it's Kaylin. And so anyways, I'm fixing that, but it's interesting to see, I guess. I'm trying to make it unique around my name, but also make it something that people understand. So kind of also depends on where you're at in the stages of things, but I agree, I like the customization of it, because it's a good way to put it.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? We'll have more time to share at the end. I'll put you guys in the hot seat. So, all right. So the next thing is, with surgery, preparation is everything. Before any procedure, we have a detailed pre-op visit 2 weeks ahead of time with every single patient. We go over everything they need to know, what to buy, what to expect, when to arrive, what supplies you'll need. We also order prescriptions, order implants, confirm sizes, and then sign the consents. And every single step has a checklist and a system, so nothing is missed. Because in surgery, the rule is simple. The smoother the prep, the smoother the surgery. In a business, it's really not much different. Behind every smooth launch or transformation, there is intentional preparation. It's the systems, the people, and the mindset that make success possible. So think of your business like your own pre-op appointment. Before you make a big change, whether it's a new service, a rebrand, a staffing shift, ask yourself, what needs to be ready first? What processes, materials, or conversations have to happen to set that change up for success? And it might not be glamorous, but it's what ensures your procedure, whatever that looks like in your world, goes safely, smoothly, and delivers the best outcome. So the procedure itself is just the beginning. I tell my patients, we're not going to leave you to heal on your own. It's not like I'm going to operate on you and then see you in a month. We are very hands-on. About 80% of the result depends on how you heal, and 20% is what I do in the operating room. It's not like I'm operating on a block of wood. I literally tell people this. I'm not a carpenter. I could do the same thing every single time and always have a different result because the human body is dynamic, it's variable, it's literally living tissue. And we want to be active in the post-op process because that's where healing truly begins and where the results are formed. The same is true in business. The surgery, whether it's a launch, rebrand, new hire, big change, is just the beginning. And the results depend on how you nurture that change, how you follow up, and how you adjust over time. And it's one thing to make a change, and it's quite another to sustain it. So healing, refining, and growing is where beauty actually takes shape. So I want you to think, what's one follow-up you could do this week to strengthen a new idea or a launch in your business? And it can be small. It could be a quick check-in, a call, or a tweak that helps your initiative heal beautifully. Lastly, my husband said this was an aggressive slide because there's a knife. We talk about scars. So in cosmetic surgery, we always tell people you're going to have a scar because no transformation happens without them. We explain that scars are part of the journey. They're going to fade and soften with time, but they're never fully going to disappear. And that's okay. They're an accepted and even beautiful part of the process. And they tell the story of where healing took place. It's the same in business. Every time we take a risk, launch something new, navigate a hard season, we gain our own version of scars. A failed idea, financial mistake, partnership that didn't work out, or just a period of burnout. And the moments can feel really painful, but they shape us into wiser, stronger, and more resilient leaders. And what I've learned in surgery and entrepreneurship is that we don't need to hide our scars. We should own them, integrate them into our story, and they're proof that we had the courage to try and to change and to grow. So what's one challenge you've reframed into a strength and a scar in your business that you now see not as damage, but as definition, and it's something that makes your story yours? So our key takeaways, we've talked about the full transformation process, consultation, customization, prep, post-op care, scar management. So now it's time to put it all together. Here you guys have some homework. We're going to go through this copy of the business makeover plan. You each have a copy. Think of it as your personal treatment plan for your business. And it's a way to diagnose what's working, identify what's not, and map out your next step towards transformation. And so we'll go through this just like surgery, systematically, step by step. And the goal is to design a customized plan that fits you. And there's no one-size-fits-all solution. So when you fill it out, be honest with yourself. What's an area in your business that could use a little lift, tightening, or refinement? Could be systems, could be branding, could be team communication, also just could be mindset. And the fun part is, at the end, I'm going to invite two of you to share what you came up with, and we're going to do a mini consultation together as a group, and I have prizes. So you get some JCS fun stuff for our brave volunteers. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to jot some thoughts down, and then we will talk it over together. I have a bunch over here. Thank you for coming by. It's good to see you. How he's recording now. Yeah, that would be great. We'll give everyone like another minute to finish up their thoughts. All right. I need 2 volunteers. I need 1 at least. 1 human. Oh my god, everyone wants what? We can do more than that. Okay, I only have 2 prizes, but
I don't need a prize.
yeah, you don't get you please volunteer. Go ahead, Debbie. Let's talk. What's one change you're considering in your business this year?
Am I on? So I wanted to chat because I've interacted with many of you who are helping me with these things. Some of you in this room, but my front desk process, because I have satellite locations, which is what kind of makes us unique. So a virtual front desk professional who up until this point has been me. So that is like, it's a change that must happen. Like, for example, when I leave this meeting, I probably have 20 phone calls waiting for me. So, which puts a lot of stress and anxiety in my life. So,
okay. So why can't you just use like a one size fits all? Why can't you just outsource, like just have like a virtual assistant take care of all this? Or
I am working towards that. So I have a virtual assistant right now, and I have my mom actually helping me with phones. She is almost 80 years old, and she has been very loving and been willing to be trained. Thank you. You talk to her, which I love it. But you know, like I couldn't have even gotten to this point unless Justin and Ashley had set me up with the app and the tools to get going. But it's just, yeah, it is kind of different. But I think a lot more people are going to have a need for something like a fractional front desk. So like, you know,
We need it.
yeah. So it's just I think many businesses are going to be moving into this reality. But what I'm trying to do right now is get my mom trained. I want to get her on the payroll. Bless her heart, she's doing things for free for me right now. But you know, coaching her on like how to talk to a surgical candidate, like she will not do that yet. And I'm like, but because she can listen to the phone calls on the app, that is starting to train her. So it's like I'm moving in the right direction, but it's still like a huge headache that I'm still just working through. So
God, I feel that in every ounce of my
being.
Yeah. But there's I think it's Dan Martell that said if you can find somebody that can do it 80% as good as you do it, that's 100% awesome.
Absolutely.
And so
it is hard.
yeah. But I'll get her there. Like I'm like, you don't need to understand the lymphatic system, Mom. Like just ask them, you know. So that's kind of my thing.
I love that. And what is your scar that you're gonna own and take away as a success? Just like the trials and tribulations of, you know, fumbling through it. I feel like that's part of all of change.
That's part of it. Honestly, it's been a beautiful thing because it's like brought my mom and I closer together, which has been amazing. We've always had a good relationship, but this has been super cool to just have her involved. And then it gives me proof of concept that I can train a person that, you know, she understands massage therapy, but like, you know, like we have people call us and ask us weird questions, you know, and so it's like, yes, you can be trained, you know, so it's cool that she's kind of she's my proof of concept and very patient and loving and, you know, what's the best for me. So it's pretty sweet.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other volunteers? We got a couple people. Yes, please.
Pass the tiny mic.
Pass the tiny mic.
I'll say I can go real quick. That's fine. All right. So my one change I'm considering making is going from my one solid editor that I have right now into a team of editors, but that one editor is also not on that team. So it's
Mm.
kind of changing the workflow with that. It's bringing
Mhm.
the other team up to speed. The reason why I'm considering this change is because of obviously like the time constraints that he has. Each client, it's not as easy as going, okay, now we're going to work with these guys because we have very specific client needs with different outcomes. It depends on what are their goals, and he's gotten himself up to speed in about a 6-month process. So I'm like, okay, is this also going to be a 6-month process to get the team up to speed, or is it going to be longer to get the team up to speed because there's multiple ones? So I probably won't have just like 1 to 2 people that I work with, but I know at the end of it, it's going to most likely pay off because we're going to be able to have more clients. We're going to be able to have faster turnaround time. It's just going to be that hiccup would be the scar from like, okay, you might get a couple really pissed off people because they're like, oh, this isn't the exact same color grade or format or whatever as before, and it's going to take a lot more time away from me right now. So right now I can just send it over to him, tell him the goal, tell him the script, and then he just goes with it. It's going to have a lot more revisions back and forth. And of course, any editors that you get now are all overseas. So there can be some language barriers and then some time delay barriers as well, since a lot of them are 12, 15 hours time difference. So maybe a little bit more later nights with me, which is kind of hard with a 2 and a 3-year-old. So you really got to be on your game in the mornings.
I love that. Does anyone have any feedback for Dylan, who has like the most like perfect like radio voice ever? I know.
Okay, so mine is a little bit different in the way that I am trying to build Spanish speaking services to my clients. Because right now I'm a real estate agent, so I meet with them from the beginning, like applying for loans and everything, because they have a great, like, people that work with lenders and title companies, insurance, and all that stuff, but none of them speak Spanish. So I'm involved in every step of the process, translating, and which I learn a lot, and it's good. But I think that is something that for next year, I really want to work and be more involved on the Latino community and trying to find providers that are Spanish speaking. So the system can be a little bit better, more, smooth and everything. So that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, you're just one person, you know. It gets to a point where it bottlenecks if you're doing all of the translating for everything.
Yes,
you
I
know.
have learned a lot, but at the same time, it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
and it's a different. So especially for people that are older that came to the United States when they were older, the system and buying a house is totally different from their country. So explaining the whole process, it takes time. So one of the things that I realize, I repeat myself a lot. So what I start doing is videos, YouTube videos. So I send it to them. So I mean, that's something that I have done that so they can, right?
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
True. I'm trying. I found an insurance guy that he speaks Spanish. He's excellent, and all my clients adore him. So that's one.
Do you know if there's a couple other realtors that are Spanish speaking?
Yes.
Do you network with them at all? They might have the same needs.
Probably, yeah. True.
You found Coco group?
Who?
Coco Terrence.
No.
She's great.
No.
She's great. Her ERA group is Latino.
Really? See, that's why I had to come here.
Yeah.
to
We'll
find more
connect you for
information.
sure.
That's my goal. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. I mean, let me know when it is. Yeah. That would be great. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, our next volunteer.
Hey everybody, I'm Steven. Ashley and Justin invited me to come and check this out because I am looking for a new networking group. So just quick, I work in vehicle finance, from the largest truck you can think of to a Kia. We do it all. But what I really want to concentrate on this year, the consultative part, is diversifying my pipeline and my customer base. I came from an industry where I worked on national sales, had big clients all over the country, and I've carried that over to where I'm at now. But what I'm lacking is the local business, and it's what I enjoy more. I think you mentioned the Enneagram, or however you say it, being a 9 with the 8 wing. I really like being involved with my customers. I like problem solving. And so when we go to the actionable stuff in there is the company I work for, that's why I came over here, because it's all about being able to do that. But the scars are from being in national sales, being jaded, being a little frustrated, saying, hey, we're going to take care of our customers when we really don't. So I'm proud now that I work somewhere that we can do that. So that's how I'm approaching my 2025, 2026 and on. I'm really going to develop that local customer base, and that's why I'm here today. So I want to say thanks for everybody letting me come and visit.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
Any other takers?
We can talk about ours.
All right. There you go.
Not used to holding one of these up. Jason Gade, seasonal entrepreneur. Every business I own is seasonal, so we're getting ready to slow down. Wrote down some notes about some changes I'm going to make on my lawn and landscaping business. For years, I haven't taken on residential clients. We're going to start doing that again this next season. What kept me from doing that before, the scars, where I was trying to do too much in the beginning and trying to take on everything. And when you have 50 people you have to invoice at the end of the month, I hated sitting down to do that. In the last 4 or 5 years, I found an assistant that works great, and she's looking for more hours, so things are kind of falling in place. I've also been able to kind of launch this program. Haven't really made a name for it yet, and I don't know that I need to, but I'm basically just kind of word of mouth calling it the Lawn Care Academy. I know several individuals that would like to supplement their income by mowing some yards maybe on the weekend or on a Friday or a random day that they have off that's consistent. And so I was kind of just piloting this year and was able to change some people's income, have them go mow some residential yards under my name. And it was rewarding to me. I like to impact people. I like to help out. And that's also putting some income in my account as well, but also changing their lives by helping them out. Yeah, so that's one thing I'm looking to do this year, and add a website. I haven't had a website for forever. Did one early on, but I've been in the same industry for 20 years, so my people just kind of know what I do, and I've always had a problem keeping up with the workload, and more so than finding the business. But now I got these people that I'm able to change their lives and make an impact, and I want to feed them. So now the website's for me, for my business, sure, but it's also to feed them and keep this good thing going, and continue to impact other people's lives. So,
That's
I
awesome.
also want
Thank
to say, good job correlating this slideshow to your business and what you do. If you're not able to figure out, like, you just dumbed it down and made it simplified, and everything you talked about correlates really well with what you do in the business side of things. But if you can't figure that out, you really got to spend some time and get back into your business, because it shouldn't. Oftentimes we overcomplicate things. We try to do too much. And if you're able to let go of some of that power and delegate, and like what you said, 80%, if you can fill 80% of your shoes. I had a good accountant attorney, one of my first ones. He's a CPA and an attorney. He's like, if you can fill 50% of your shoes, you're doing great. I always thought I had to find that perfect employee that could fill my shoes. Well, if they can fill my shoes, they're going to go do it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So lately I've been struggling with, okay, I want a guy that can handle it, or gal, and also go do some networking. Well, then that takes away from my passion. I love networking and meeting people and shaking hands. And if they can do all that, then they might as well go do it themselves. So now I've realized and stepped back that I got somebody that can hold down the fort as far as the day-to-day operations. Now, if I want to grow and excel this, bring on somebody else that specializes in whatever I'm missing and needing. So, way to break it down. Very good job. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jason. Do you want to share?
I mean, yeah, I can. Before I do though, I do want to congratulate you on this. So when I ask people to come up here and do this, the overwhelming majority of people are terrified.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why this has been my baby this year and last year. I started making the masterminds because I wanted an interactive piece, because we go to these hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, full day conferences, and we listen to people talk to us, and they're full of really good information. But about an hour in, you're ready to like go home because you weren't able to get any of your questions answered. Everything was generalize in a way that, yes, it applies to everyone, but there are certain things that you and everyone else that has come up here and gets to talk about that people can interrupt and they can ask a question in real time. And in this instance today, everybody got to give a little bit more in depth into what this means for them. And so I think that's really important. And also, I had somebody challenge me in 2023 to do some public speaking, and I was terrified. My scar is anxiety. And that was a really big moment for me when I got asked to public speak at the Talon Room with two really wonderful women that I would call really good friends of mine today. But when I walked into that room, I was having a full-blown panic attack. And my anxiety is that I don't want people to see my anxiety. But there was no freaking hiding it. It was like my face was red. My armpits were sweating. I didn't want you to shake my hand because it was like sopping wet. It was a mess. It was a total disaster. But then I did it anyway. And then I kept putting myself in situations where I had to public speak. And then what I learned was as I did it more and more, it became easier and easier, which meant that just like with working out, the more reps you do, the easier you get. And then the stronger you get, the heavier you can lift. And so now that's why this mastermind exists, because 75% of people are terrified of public speaking, just like I am. I'm still terrified of it, but I just do it afraid. And now I don't have a panic attack anymore. But I use my anxiety as an advantage because it propels me forward. And I know you and I had this conversation because you are just like me in this. Without my anxiety, I would not be successful. You told me that I was the most organized person you ever know. Guess what? That's my anxiety because I'm afraid to not be organized. I'm afraid to not follow through. So you will that's a strength in the business because of that. And so I think that's really important to turn those scars into your strengths.
You're doing so much for so many other people by obviously sharing that story and then propelling us to do this. I know Debbie has spoken and just having you share that is very powerful because our fear is there to protect us. Ultimately, but I came in today, I listened to a podcast by Ed Milet about fear this morning, and he said, fear and excitement are just cousins. And if you come into this and you say, I'm amped up, you get your brain to think you're amped up. Yeah, you're amped up because it's the same feeling as fear. And so you can actually turn that into, I'm amped up, I'm excited to do this, rather than, why is my body going into a full-blown panic attack? Obviously, you can't control some of those things, but it's your body's kind of trying to protect itself. But like you said, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and you can kind of reframe it into this scar that becomes part of your story.
I would just add yes to all of that. The other thing that, when I'm working with leaders in particular, here you go. When I'm working with leaders and just humans, because I talk to my kids about this too, it's almost like when we get into a situation that's unfamiliar or uncomfortable, and that feeling that you start to get in your gut and your chest, and it's an uncomfortable feeling. And as humans, when we get uncomfortable feelings, it's our knee-jerk reaction to shut that down, get it away. We're going to numb it. We're going to avoid it. We're going to tell ourselves stories like, oh, that feeling must mean that this is not for me, that this is the wrong decision. And actually, science says what that feeling is telling you that you are out of your comfort zone. Welcome. But it doesn't mean retreat. It doesn't mean go away. It just means you're about to do something brave. And to your point, the more that you do that and do it scared, don't just go and be oh, I'm not gonna do it until I'm not scared. Do it scared and get the reps in. But yeah, just challenge that uncomfortable feeling and make sure that you're telling yourself the right story about it.
So who wants to do a mastermind?
Maggie.
Oh, God.
I do one.
Fantastic.
Not tomorrow. January. Yeah. Wait, when am I?
That's the whole point of this. And I guess I've never really said it out loud on why I do this. It's so that this year, when you get good at doing this, there will will be nothing that will propel your business forward faster than getting up in front of a crowd of people and just being brave. Not like being on, but like letting them see who you really are. The scared, the bad, the ugly, the good, the things you overcame, and people will relate to you, and that's what's going to make them want to do business with you. And that's what you're doing with pulling a mic. You're pulling that out of people. And it's terrifying, especially when they don't know how to play golf.
All right.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, I got